Welcome to the site. I'm Trent, and today we're going to go over something a little different. I'm not actually going to tie a fly. I'm going to start a series of videos on different techniques, and the technique I'm going to go over today is how to put your lead on your hook. There's a couple different ways to do this, so sit back, enjoy yourself, and let's go over these techniques together. Okay, the first technique we're going to go through is called the eye anchor. So you just want to take your wire, I've already just cut off a section, and you just want to run it up through the eye of your hook. And once you've done that, you can just come over and you can just make your wraps like so, putting your lead on as you in touching wraps however much you want. Now once you get to that point, you can just pull the lead back a little bit, push it through, because that's just there to anchor it. And then, as always, so then I'd have my lead. I'm going to use some orange thread just because I hope it shows up real good on the video with my gray sweatshirt. So you can see how that lead is wanting to spin on me, even with just this little bit of tie-in. So I'm going to come here, and then I go all the way to the back and trap it, and then just wrap into the middle. That secures it. And then you always want to do a securing wrap and kind of build a ramp up at the beginning, or at the butt section, and then up near the head. So there you go. That is how you would do the eye anchor wrap. Alright, the next technique we're going to use is called the direct wrap. And for the direct wrap, I like to use a material bobbin like so. And I just come in, I don't need that much material, come in to the back where I want the lead to start, and I just use the bobbin, and I just make my wraps, touching wraps. To wherever I want it to stop, right? And then I can clip it off nice and tight, close to the hook. This is really good if you want to minimize your waste when you're tying. Putting it on a bobbin is probably a really good way. You could probably just leave it on the spool, itself, and do it. It's just a little bit more tedious. All right, so that is the direct wrap, and of course you would wrap it in with the thread just like you did in the first example. All right, this next technique we're going to use is called the bound and tag. So what you do is this works best if you have a length of lead that you want to tie in. So you just take the tag in and you tie that material in just like you would any other material. Then you can just make your wraps. Back just like normal. Now this method does take a little longer than some of the others. But you can just tie it in just like so, and then just like I did in the first one, go ahead and put a ramp in the front. I don't really need to cover these, but we can. So there you go. There is the bound tag method of putting in wire. Alright, for this next example, we're going to use the bobbin again, and this is the double wrap method. So I'm just going to pinch it onto the shank of the hook, start the wraps. These are just touching wraps going forward, just as you would expect on any of the other wraps. Then I'm going to come back over the top, and come back all the way to where I began, making it a double wrap of lead. Obviously this is something you'd want to do to really get your flies down quick if you're wanting to fish the bottom. So there is how you would tie in the double wrap. Let me clean up that in there. And again, this one here, you would want to make sure you wrapped it either end with the thread, putting in that the nice transition. This would be probably a good idea for scuds, or maybe Pat's rubber legs, something you want to get on the bottom. This next technique is called the Thorax wrap. So very similar to the direct wrap and the double wrap. We're going to start off the same way. And we're going to go all the way, forward. Just always remember, you got to leave some bare hook. You need room for your head. Don't crowd your fly. And then I'm going to come back in a double wrap fashion, but I'm just going to come back where the thorax of my fly would be. So this would give you a very heavy weighted nymph pattern, like a hare's ear nymph or a pheasant tail, something of that nature. You could really get a good heavy fly with this method. Alright, this next technique isn't so much how to put the thread on, or the lead on the hook, but it's what to do once you have. So I have a pair of little springy pliers, and there's no grooves or anything in here. They're flat and smooth. So what you can do is you take these, and you can pinch that lead down. And this is it's called flattening, and you can flatten your lead to a certain degree. You don't want to get crazy with it and really crush it, because you can break the lead. You could also do this after you've wrapped it in thread. That probably helps secure it a little better too. But I wanted to do it this way because I wanted you to be able to see like how flat I was able to get that. Alright, so that is the flattened lead method.